Over the next 6 weeks, we are going to be learning about Lent and Easter. We're going to be looking at parts of the Bible, the stories of what happened to Jesus as we move towards Easter. Let's go over our learning intentions for today. Our learning intentions for today are that you are learning about temptation and how the story of Jesus going into the desert shows us that we can all be tempted. We're going to be learning to understand more about the sacrifices that Jesus made for us. And we're going to be learning about the 3 Lenten traditions of almsgiving or giving to charity, fasting and prayer, and why each of these are very important in our religion. Lent is a very important time for Christians because this is the time that we prepare for Easter, to prepare for Jesus' death and resurrection. It's a time when we're reminded about the sacrifices that Jesus made for us so that we may live a better life. It's also a time when we are reminded about temptation. We are not the only people who have been tempted. We know that our God wants us to make the right choice, but there's someone who also wants us to do the wrong thing, to make the wrong choice. We cannot see God, but we know He is always near us. He helps us and takes care of us. He always wants us to do the right things so that we will be happy. He wants us to come live with Him in heaven when we die. We also cannot see Satan, but we know he is alive too. He tries to get us to do bad things, to make the wrong choice. He doesn't want us to go to heaven when we die. Heaven is a place where God lives. Satan wants us to go to hell. No one is ever happy in hell because God is never there. Sometimes we want to do the wrong thing. We want to make the wrong choice. Wanting to do the wrong thing is called temptation. Sometimes we know that something is wrong. Sometimes we know to do something good, but we want to just forget about it and not do it. When we feel like not doing something that we know is good, that is also temptation. Temptation is when bad and wrong things look really good to us. Satan tempts us. He hates it when we are good, so he tries to make bad things seem good to us. Sometimes he makes them look so good that we forget what God has said and just do the wrong thing. After Jesus was baptized, he went away to the desert to be alone. He decided that he wanted to pray and think about God for 40 days and 40 nights. Jesus did not want to be distracted by anything, so he fasted. To fast means to not eat so that even our bodies make us think about God every time we feel hungry. Jesus fasted and did not eat for 40 days while he was in the desert. Satan did not like it because Jesus only thought of God. Satan hated it that Jesus was so good all the time. He decided to tempt Jesus and try to make him do bad things. Satan came to Jesus and tempted him in 3 ways. Now, Satan knew Jesus was really hungry, so he tempted Jesus to use his powers in a selfish way, all for himself. Satan said, "If you are really the Son of God, then use your special powers to turn these stones into bread." Jesus was hungry, but he knew that God wanted him to only use his special powers to help other people. His power was not just for feeding himself. Jesus wanted to do the right thing. He knew the best way to answer Satan was to use God's words. Jesus had memorized a lot of scriptures, so he knew exactly which scripture to say to Satan. He said this verse from the Bible: "Man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God." Jesus was hungry. Next, Satan took Jesus to Jerusalem, to the temple. Both Jesus and Satan knew that the temple was a special place to God. They stood at the highest point of the temple. Satan wanted to get Jesus to doubt God's power. He told Jesus that he should give God a test to see if his power worked. Satan told Jesus to jump off the temple and see if God's angels would catch him. But Jesus did not need to give God a test. Jesus already knew that God's power was stronger than anything in the world. Jesus told Satan another scripture from God's word. Do not put the Lord your God to the test. You would think that Satan would have learned his lesson, but he really wanted Jesus to mess up. Maybe Satan thought, if only I can get Jesus to do things my way, then I will be more important to him than God is. So Satan had one more thing he could do to tempt Jesus. Maybe this time he could get Jesus to sin. Satan took Jesus to the top of a very high mountain. They could see the whole world from the top of the mountain. So Satan said, you say you love all the people of the world. You say you want them to go to heaven. How about a deal? I will help all the people of the world go to heaven if you will just do one simple thing. All you have to do is to bow down and worship me instead of God. Do you think Jesus gave in to this temptation? No. Jesus had had enough. He told Satan to go away. Of course, he would never worship Satan. Jesus loved God. He would only worship God. Jesus quoted from the Old Testament one more time. Worship the Lord your God and serve only him. Then Satan left Jesus. Angels came and helped take care of Jesus after that. Do you think Satan gave up trying to tempt Jesus? No, of course he didn't. He never gave up. He tried again and again to tempt Jesus, but Jesus never did wrong. God understands that temptation is very difficult. It was even hard for Jesus. Sometimes we are tempted to do the wrong thing too. God understands Satan's sneaky tricks, and he can help us to say no to temptation. We need to remember God's true words, just like Jesus did. Now we're going to have a little time to reflect on the story. I want you to sit quietly, close your eyes, or you can lower your gaze. I want you to ask yourself, what made Jesus go into the desert? How long was he there? What happened to him while he was there? When Jesus left the desert, what did you think he was going to do? What does Jesus ask us to do? What do you think Jesus wants us to do to change your life? How can we show that we believe in Jesus and that we will not be tempted by Satan? I want you to take a few minutes to just think about the questions. Think about the story and what Jesus did. How each time Satan tempted him, he always managed to say no. And he thought of God's words and knew that they were more powerful than any temptation that Satan could put in Jesus' way. Have a think about times when you have been tempted. Did you manage to say no? Or were you tempted and went ahead and did the thing you shouldn't have? You made the wrong choice instead of the right one. Making good choices can be difficult, but it's very important that you think about the consequences, about the things that could happen if you make the wrong choice. During Lent, we think a lot about the temptation of Jesus, and we also think a lot about how Jesus sacrificed so much for us, and how Lent is a time that we can show Jesus and God that we are prepared to sacrifice too, because we believe in Him and we love Him just as He loves us. I've put in here a did you know fact, because it wasn't until I was reading through some of the material that I realised that the number 40 appears quite a few times in the Bible. The Israelites wandered in the desert for 40 years. Jesus spent 40 days and nights in the desert. And Noah and the animals were in the ark for 40 days too. So the number 40 seems quite significant in the Bible. Okay, now it's task time. Lent is a time of giving to those who need our help. Now, that might be people who may not have as much as we do, even although there are times when we think that we don't have enough or we don't have as much as someone else. But for each time you think that, I want you to think about the people in the world who don't have as much as what we do. That there are people who really are suffering. As part of giving to others, we can donate to charity. We can give away things that we no longer use to people who are in more of need of them. We can give to food banks or charities around us to help other people. But we can also give some of our time by helping other people. Now, that might be that we spend a bit of time helping someone who's maybe lonely. Now, I know we can't get close to people just now because of the virus, but we know lots of ways that we can make contact with people. Maybe having a little minute to make a phone call or write a letter or even draw a picture to share with someone. That can give them a little bit of help and a little bit of hope. And that's what Lent is all about. It's also a time for fasting and sacrifice. Now, we are not suggesting that you fast for 40 days and 40 nights like Jesus, but we think of things that we can give up during Lent. Now, that might be chocolates or crisps or sweets or juice, and that's our sacrifice. And that's okay because it's starting to show Jesus and God that we are prepared to give something up, just as they did for us. Lent is also a time of prayer. It's a time that we should be using to connect with God again. And part of the sacrifice that we make through fasting helps us to connect again with God. Because in this story, we heard how Jesus didn't want food because it distracted him from what he wanted to do. And that was spending time thinking only of God. And that leads us to our task for today. I want you to write your own prayer to Jesus in your jota, thanking him for all that he did to sacrifice for us during his time in the desert and leading up to his crucifixion. And I want you to share with him in your prayer what you're going to do or change during Lent in memory of what he did for us. When you've finished your prayer, I want you to practice saying your prayer every night to Jesus before you go to bed as a way of saying thank you. And next week, we will go on to have a look at week 2 of Lent. Thank you for your time today. Well done, everyone.